with the last video I made, or I don't know if it was the last video necessarily, but one of the videos I had made recently, I had talked about how I actually forget exactly. Oh yeah, it was vehicles, and how I think they could be used and could really benefit rimworld in various ways, as well with a sort of philosophy of everything has its ups, everything has its downs. And, well, with the new RimWorld DLC being announced, and at least some things so far pointing to an increase in exploration, or at least a focus in it, I mean, if you've seen the debate around the DLC. And I think, well, what ways, you know, well, since the last video was technological based, uh, I would like to talk, about some things when it comes to basically the planet itself. Uh, I guess you could say the wild aspects of the planet. Uh, Things like biomes, plants, animals, um, I guess uses for animals, more versatility, uh, it's all kinds of stuff, which I should get into it. Which the first thing was, well, biomes, or at least the first thing I would like to talk about is the things the biomes are on, the Earth itself. In Rimworld, there are, gold, silver, jade. I think that's actually it when it comes to precious metals and stones. But I would like to see, more of such things. Uh, Obviously, things like gemstones, but more varieties of, I guess, semi-precious stones would be also pretty nice. As well as more types of precious metals. On top of that would also be non-precious things. You'd have your diamonds and your sapphires and all that jazz, and maybe add in some other varieties of jade colors. Not a geologist, but also to add in less, things that types of stony material, you could say, as hell, maybe even metal, uh, that's not precious. Um, you got your platinum. Well, I guess bronze. I guess you'd also have to have copper in the game for that, but stuff like that. Uh, then also with that would come more biomes. Uh, I mentioned space, and well, I would like space rocks of various varieties. That would be pretty neat as a semi-precious stone. A very limited one, at least. Well, I would like for space and space travel to be implemented into the game. And there are mods, rim knots, save our ship. Those two together being very good. But, you know, pumice, uh, when it comes to biomes, I would really like, which realistically, I mean, other than decoration, as well as maybe, I don't know, maybe using gemstones and stuff to increase the beauty of statues and various objects and stuff like that. Maybe make a solid diamond wall too, as well as construction skill, I guess, if you really want to. But with that would come biomes, the stuff on the surface. I would love for a subterranean and underwater areas and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But, you know, well, I guess you could have in tunnels. And that's besides the point. Anyways, moving on. Then we got biomes. Now, there are a lot of biome mods, and really, you got your standard ones, your grasslands. I would like to see those personally. because it's a little strange that they're not in there. That's you'd think grasslands, real dry. You know, it would flesh out the biomes a little bit with a more generic one. Um, hell, it would be pretty neat for more like barren areas. Not even necessarily like, well, I guess um, places where there's more stone than anything. On top of that would be other biomes that are a bit more hostile, or well, I guess I'll go into volcanoes. Um, well, when it comes to space again, with the moons I had mentioned, I think I had mentioned having the moons. You can do stuff like there's this one mod that had like propane lakes and various stuff like that. Though I doubt they're going to do space travel in this DLC or really anytime soon. So, it generally have your stock standard stuff. Um, I mean, I would like for some more crazy stuff like mushroom forests and stuff. It would be nice for an actual like mushroom wood, but as well as different varieties of wood. But you know, you generally, the ones you'd come to expect when it comes to those. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I got a very short time to explain this stuff. But basically, um, I guess a more a boreal, uh, temperate wetlands or temperate rainforests. Those would be pretty interesting. Uh, I guess microbiomes would be an interesting thing. More like a like temperate rainforests. They're not really that big. It would be interesting to see like a ruined cities, though. To be honest with you, I think you'd have to, to make the skyscrapers and stuff be do them right. You'd probably need the ability to go, dwarf fortress stuff, the ability to go up and down essentially. But you know, stuff like that. Uh, Irradiated, sort of like a toxic wasteland, sort of. You'd have a bit of a wasteland. It would be nice for that too, to have little pockets of irradiation. But then you'd have your sludge covered slime pit of radioactive death. And other things like that. The superorganisms. Giant cellular mass or something like that. Maybe even some aquatic stuff. That would be nice. I doubt that's going to happen, but man can dream. Having biomes in areas like that, then you'd have your plants and animals. Uh, Generally, the stuff you'd come to expect. It would be nice for some lions and tigers, as well as stuff like zebras, moose, pandas, all kinds of stuff like that. But I would also like to see some your more unusual things. Things like, for instance, maybe some new healing plants. They don't have to be as common. Preferably, they wouldn't be as common as the normal healing plant. I think it's called heal root or something. But they would appear in different places. For instance, have like a healing mushroom that only grows underground. You might not be able to grow it, unlike healing root. And it's not as common. Maybe have a healing flower, different kinds of drugs, or more correctly, I guess, plant and fungus based drugs and stuff. Uh, I don't know, on the new types of wood, have like an ultra hard kind of wood, but have the trees essentially be treated like ambrosia sprouts, really. They wouldn't appear very often. Well, I wouldn't. Well, within reason, I wouldn't restrict the biomes that they would appear in, primarily because they'd be genetically engineered. But, having stuff like that, as well with stuff like, you know, basically plant herbal based alternatives to various drugs, as well as maybe some new ones, psychedelic mushrooms and whatnot. Uh, and they don't even really need to be hard drugs like that. Tobacco. Where's my fucking cigarettes? Damn it! I've traveled across the whole fucking ship looking for them, and I can't find them. you know, I could think of a lot of science fiction and whatnot with that in it, but various stuff like that. On top of that, as well, of course, animals. Uh, on the rare appearing thing, it would be interesting to have like a giant animal, sort of like a genetically engineered monstrosities, basically. You've seen kaiju movies. There are even a couple mods that have sort of giant animals and monsters. On the animals that are not genetically engineered, because, well, I mean, really, there's all kinds of things you could do with that. Large monstrosity, Well, I'll give you one thing that you could expand quite a lot. Insects, the giant insects, on, in a take that I had deleted, I had talked about how, the tribals, and if you're doing like a low-tech playthrough, especially in modern RimWorld, you're dealing with mechanoids, guns. There's a lot to deal with as a tribal or a low-tech civilization in RimWorld. Even ones with access to stuff like electricity and stuff. It can be a little difficult. Of course, I did mention in the previous video about RimWorld, about things like the ability to ride animals. Now, I don't know how, I guess you'd say, overpowered these mods are for stuff like that. But, having it to where certain animals would be more skittish or less skittish, in terms of, horses, they might buck you. Let's say, for instance, I don't know, a giant, stick insect of some kind, or something like that, they wouldn't. On top of that, things like, really just all kinds of things you could do with the bugs, types of silk, it would be, I mean, you guys can debate all this in the comments. I would like to see your guys' opinions on stuff you'd like to see, but adding in just more varieties of bugs, especially ones that aren't necessarily combat-oriented. There are 3 combat bugs already in the game, and sure, it'd be nice for some new ones. Giant worm, for instance. But, for instance, some kind of little grub creature, I mean, there are mods, it would be nice. The mechanoids got it. It would also be nice for some aquatic animals, and, well, I don't know how you can do it with flying animals. I'm running out of time. It would definitely be good if vehicles were added in, I mean, there's no way to get across the ocean still, and, well, if they got a sailboat, well, I'll just tame me a whale, and whatnot. It'd be interesting, especially, in terms of transport. But I guess, you guys leave your opinions in the comment section. and your ideas, any ideas you might have. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. See you when that DLC, drops and whatnot. See ya. Assuming the planet doesn't blow up or something.